I'm Mike.
And we're here today to talk about HHN 2022.
Yes.
We went back to Universal Studios to check out what everything looked like after a month away. I don't want to go week after week. I kind of want to see a lot of improvement when we go out because it's a little far. It's like what? It's only 20 minutes away. It's really not that far.
Gas is expensive.
But it's like 2 hours of traffic.
Yeah.
It really is. But first and foremost, for all of you who've watched the top 10 Not Scary Farm mazes according to FCP, thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
It was a long one in the making, and even when we decided to do it, it was like a month in the making, and it has been welcomed with open arms, so thank you all for watching that.
More to come of that, hopefully.
Yes, more to come. And I was I'm so excited. I was excited. It was so well received, so
yeah.
Perfect. But let's get started. So we went out to Universal Studios Hollywood, because I know that there's a lot of speculation videos out there for Orlando as well.
Yes.
But we went out to Hollywood about 5 days ago just to check out what was going on in the Curious George parking lot. Also the Mummy Queue, and then as well as, where's that last one that we can see?
Parisian Square?
The Parisian Square. I'm all... Where is it at? I don't know. But what was interesting is that I've been following Twitter, and there are actually, according to John Murdy, and I'll put this picture up of the tweet that he sent out, there's actually 5 mazes going on. So I'm thinking we're not going to be seeing another maze, like physically, possible to be seeing it, except for the one that'll most likely pop up in the Waterworld queue, which they always put a maze there. I think last year... Was it
Halloween 4?
Yeah, was it Halloween 4?
Yeah.
So the rest of them, I do believe, will be in sound stages or behind the soundstage areas, including inside the Walking Dead maze area.
And that's going to be a hard one to kind of speculate on because we cannot see inside that area. But I sure hope that. If we're not going to be using it for the Walking Dead attraction, let's use it for a maze. It's such a great, like, space, and we can put so much stuff in there. I always joke, like, I felt like the Walking Dead, it was like a 90% queue and 10% ride, like, walkthrough.
It was.
So that queue area could just be the maze in itself. Like, I don't know. I'm hoping, but let's actually talk about the speculation of what could possibly be there if they decide to put a maze there, which they should. What would you like to see there?
So, I feel like if you gutted the space, you could put almost anything inside that area.
Yeah.
Now, Do you want to talk about like what the speculation is, or do you want to come up with something on your own?
No, let's give the people what they want, and I think is what the speculation is, and like none of this is for sure.
None of it is for sure. None of it.
I can already hear the comments.
No, any video that you watch, nothing is for sure. Nothing is ever going to be for sure until it comes out of the horse's mouth, which is Universal Studios Hollywood, and obviously we will be further involving ourselves in more depth when they do start faking. When they do start making final announcements, and they came out with some really cool trailers last year, and I'm hoping that the theme parks do continue to do those trailers.
Yeah.
Because they're really, really cool to see, and they're kind of really spooky depending on what it is. But, you want to say something?
Kind of.
What's up?
Usually, don't they do announcements in, like, they do the first announcement in May?
I mean...
Hasn't that been a trend?
That would be a trend, or early June. Early June. But
let's
who
get it
knows?
going. Let's get an announcement here.
I don't know if they're... I feel like the further they get into construction and people are like, oh, that's what it is for sure, 100%. Like, say what's in the Parisian Square right now. Like,
yeah.
That's... Then they're gonna be like, okay, guys. Like, let's go ahead and tell them what it is for sure. You know?
Well, and speaking of that, let's just talk about that facade that is at the Parisian Square right now. Now, that to me is looking like a facade we have seen before. That definitely looks like a church, like a missionary. Mm-hmm. I think those squares are going to have bells filled in them, and I think...
Absolutely.
And I say this with as much, like... I can't guarantee it, but I really do think this is the La Llorona maze.
You sent me a picture earlier this week, too, and you were like, Brie, this is what the La Llorona church looks like. And I'm all, ooh, yeah, looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Now, if this is a fact, and according to other people, even according to the speculation map of HN Nightmares, which I know a lot of people are following, it is going to be La Llorona. I will, hands down, probably say 95% that according to everybody else who went to the maze before, because I did not get to go through it, but you did, and it was a really good maze. You said
I
it was
really
a great
liked
maze.
it. Yeah, it smelled like a terrible barn in there, but besides that, yeah, I like that maze a lot.
Yeah, that it is going to be La Llorona, so 95%, most likely going to be La Llorona. I'm excited for that because I did not get to go through that maze, but I have looked at the walkthroughs. It looks scary. It looks really, really cool. It's
the opening where you are basically going through the church, and all the dead bodies are like, sitting, and all the candles are lit. It's just such creepy visuals. I like it,
It is, and the only thing that it really sticks out to me from watching the walkthroughs is like the giant La Llorona like eating the child.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so like I hope that they bring that back. They did bring that puppet, I want to say, back for a scare zone.
I think so.
1 year.
Yeah.
And they had a bunch of Easter eggs throughout that, and that was one of the items that they brought back. So I was like, ooh, I know what you're from, but I've never been through you. So
I think you'll like it. I think you're going to appreciate it. You like Graveyard Games. I would say that feels kind of same in terms of the sets.
Okay.
I hope that those horse people come back, because those were always freaky to me.
Horse people?
Yeah, I could have swore. Yeah.
Like centaurs?
No, just like people on stilts with like horse heads.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. Whatever.
That stuck out to me. So, let's just jump right into it. Everyone can see those two mazes, well, at least one of them, at the Curious George parking lot.
Yes.
So we see this. So let's jump into it and talk about what we can see from the Curious George parking lot. Now, we see this rundown house.
Yep.
And it's a beautiful facade. There's also this well that's like right there.
Yeah, I have no idea.
The thing about this is that it could be like a house from like a million scary movies, right? It's just a traditional spooky looking house.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is going to be an original maze. I would be shocked if it was something. I mean, you never know. They could announce it and be like, oh, this is, it. And that's the house from it. And I could be like, oh, I don't even know, because...
They're like, okay.
I don't think so, though. I think this is going to be an original maze, which I'm excited for because I think when Universal does original mazes, they're a lot of fun.
They are a lot of fun, and it's always nice to see an original maze, but there's two things, and I guess more people are leaning towards one than the other, but there was somebody put out that could be the old farmhouse from The Last of Us. But I looked at the old farmhouse from The Last of Us, and it doesn't look like that.
First of all, I would basically shit my pants if that was a Last of Us maze, because yes.
Yeah, because I think in the speculation maps, Orlando is speculating that there will be a Last of Us maze. But what are people most leaning towards? The original maze, which would be
Scarecrow. Right. Which obviously I think I want Last of Us because I'm such a fan of Last of Us. They're also making an HBO show about that. Mm-hmm. I don't know when that's supposed to come out, but if it's this year, that would make sense to do like a tie-in. However, I think it's going to be Scarecrow. Judging by how the facade looks, I think the inside is going to be beautiful. And I'm excited to see some Scarecrows because, damn, Scarecrows can be really scary. And
they did have Curse of the Scarecrow, did they not, in the walkthrough of the Terror Tram one year? Did they not have that?
I don't remember. The only Scarecrow-related maze I remember from Universal was in Orlando, and I think it was called The Reaping. Mm-hmm. Terrifying.
I want to say, if you guys know or not, I remember walking through something and Scarecrows were kind of like coming down at you. If anybody remembers that, put that in the comments down below, because I swear to God that happened.
Well, I remember Scarecrows looking down at you, but that's in a lot of the Terror Tram walkthroughs.
It was,
even if it's not Scarecrow related. I remember like a couple years back, they had like Scarecrows looking down at you trying to get you before you go into the plane crash area.
I'm just saying Universal has a way of going like, oh, we're gonna make it a scare zone, and we're gonna try it out, and then we're gonna make it a maze.
You're probably right.
You know, because like Holidays in Hell was a scare zone. And then it turned into a maze.
Oh, you're talking about a scare zone? I thought you were talking about...
No, I'm saying it was a scare zone. It was a scare zone. I think it was a scare zone in the Terror Tram, and then it would make sense if they were doing now original maze.
Got it.
Of the Scarecrow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're on... Look at my eyes.
Same page?
We're on the same page.
Okay.
Understood. Okay. Well, then yeah, that makes sense.
I don't remember what it was, but I think I remember Scarecrow's like reaching down at me.
Now, let's talk about the maze that we really can't see the facade of all that well. I don't think I could see the facade at all.
You really can't unless you go actually on the tram and then it whizzes by you.
Very quickly.
That's like right in the back.
Blink and you miss it. That was a good snap.
It was.
Whoa, I should be Thanos in another universe. Oh, that one wasn't good.
Disappearing.
No, I would save you. Other people, maybe not.
I know. They're like, get away.
Now, this one is up in the air for me. Let's just go into what people are saying it might be.
Okay.
And that is American Werewolf in London.
American Werewolf in London. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Did you go through the original, the maze when they did it first?
I did, back in 2014 or 2013, maybe 2015, I don't know, early 2010s. Yeah, I remember I really liked that maze. The wolf animatronics were terrifying.
Yeah.
I hated them because it just felt so feral and, I was like, well, how does the puppeteer see me? Like, I'm going to get stabbed by one of the teeth.
Yeah, no. And I'm looking at it going, they are rehashing mazes now, and they're good mazes. I'm here for it. Yeah. Unlike you hashing Exorcist last year in 2021. So, thank you for picking a better list. I just had to bring up Exorcist in this update. Because I have to.
You were... Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, then let's talk about Behind the Mummy Queue. Now, we can see the facade of this. We're moving now to the Mummy Queue, Behind the Mummy Queue, and we can see the facade of this maze. I actually disagree with what people think this is. A lot of people are saying that this is the Mummy versus the Wolfman.
Yeah, I keep looking at it going...
Looks like a hospital. It looks like Saw.
I don't know. I just feel like the Mummy versus Wolfman, I have no idea where they're going with this. If that's exactly what it is, by that facade. So educate us if you're like, this might be the storyline of why they have this front with a brick building and looking, I don't know what those two things are in the center. if they're like gantry lifts, or I have no idea what I'm looking at, but
it could very well be. We don't know.
I would say, what were you saying? Because I'm like, sure.
I was saying that it should have been Creature from the Black Lagoon versus the Wolfman.
No, yeah.
Okay.
I know that.
Why is Creature slept on?
But you were saying earlier, it would make more sense to put American Werewolf in London in that maze with that facade than the other one.
Well, I don't know what the other facade looks like. That's
it just looks like a house with like a slanted roof.
Yeah, it very well could be. It just looks like a warehouse to me. It looks like a hospital or something else, and it's not finished, I don't think.
No.
So, we'll get more answers on that, but people think it's the Mummy versus the Wolfman, and I can't see it, but only time will tell. And, if they add more things, or if they explain, like, a backstory behind it, and it's like, oh yeah, they're having this duel at this factory, okay, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it will. But, no, it looks like Saw to me. It looks like American Werewolf in London. Unless
you're going into, like, a warehouse, and the mummy has been kept in a crate.
Maybe.
In there, like, Indiana Jones style, where it's just crates and crates full of Egyptian artifacts.
That could work.
And you come in. So, I'm trying, guys, but honestly, like, I'm with you. I can't see it. So, I'm hopefully, as they build more and as we get more information, like...
Yeah.
We'll see it, because I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they're putting supposedly La Llorona in Parisian Square when the last 2 seasons we have had the monster maze there. Now, obviously, from what it is, it's most likely going to be La Llorona in there, but now they've just, so they're taking it out of where it was.
La Llorona has always been an upper lot maze. It was, I think, originally behind the Shrek ride.
They could have put it in, like, Waterworld Q.
Yeah, they could have, but it's, I think that was a very strategic move on their part. They know that people are probably going to know that this is La Llorona, and why spoil the fun? What, like, we're trying to do? Why even follow us? Be surprised. Get shocked.
No,
whoa.
Even as we make these videos, though, I'm shocked.
We know nothing.
Like, I don't know. I don't know because I'm like, this is a speculation. Yeah. So nobody's actually going to know anything until Universal says, hey, it's this.
You want to know what I'm pretty sure is going to be happening this year? Okay. And this is just because of a tweet that The Weeknd said.
Okay.
He wrote something saying, like, oh, he mentioned Halloween Horror Nights very specifically, so I think there's going to be a Weekend maze or a Weekend-themed scare zone or something involving The Weeknd. I don't know, but it just seems that way because why would he be so specific on tweeting out that? I forgot what he said.
Maybe I can scroll through it.
Yeah, you'll be able to find it. But he mentioned something, and obviously the horror fans just went nuts and were like, okay, so that was a clue. And I think that's going to happen. I have a feeling that they're going to do a music-themed, artist-themed maze or scare zone. That would be exciting for me because at least it's an original thing, and there's just so much room for hopefully some good imagery, and there's nothing that Universal has to be bogged down on
right.
in terms of recreating scenes from a movie. Alice Cooper did a maze, and it was like you went through like the 7 layers of hell, and I remember that was actually a very visually pleasing maze, and I liked it. So hopefully that is true, and if it is true, hopefully they make it make sense.
Yeah. I mean, when you deal with music, sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit, and I would have thought that Billie Eilish maybe made more sense because I think her music videos and her persona can be a little bit more spooky.
Moody.
But the Weeknd, okay, all right, let's see.
I think Billie Eilish was a rumor for a long time.
It was.
Until The Weeknd popped up and everybody's like, oh.
Well, The Weeknd's still a rumor.
True.
So we don't know.
Yeah.
But that's that. Also, I think that I'm so sorry. Also, I think that Terror Tram is coming back. I do. I don't know if they're gonna... I think it's coming back. I have a feeling.
Yeah. It works.
Who knows what the theme is gonna be, but it's gonna come back, I think. So.
It's probably about Hollywood. Who knows? No, because we're in the Hollywood Hills.
That's true.
Never mind.
One other thing that I think we need to talk about is they should do a Candyman maze. And I'm not saying it's necessarily what I want them to do, but Universal put out a Candyman remake.
Okay.
It was actually pretty good. If you guys haven't seen it, it's worth a look.
You saw it?
I saw both of them. I've seen the original Candyman. I haven't seen the sequels, but then I watched the reboots. And it was enjoyable, and I think it really lent itself to some interesting imagery, and it could really be good in a maze.
It's gonna be freaky.
Yeah,
it's gonna be freaky, and I can always like count on you to like watch movies. This guy loves movies. If you think that this man doesn't know every single horror movie or any movie, he watches everything.
I do.
And I watch a lot of commercials. Cause he goes, look at these, look at this preview, and I'm all,
You actually, that's not, but don't, she doesn't give herself enough credit. I showed her The Conjuring, and she was like, okay.
I was like, that's fine.
So I think you do good with horror movies. It's just you get in your own head and you think you're not going to do good. But once you watch horror movies, you're like, oh, huh. Like, that's literally your reaction. I showed you Insidious, and there was a jump scene, and this was you watching the jump scene. Huh.
I know.
That was supposed to be scary, and you chuckled.
I actually thought The Conjuring was freakier than Insidious.
Could have fooled me.
Like, Insidious was like, okay, it was fine. But at Conjuring, I was all like, oh, that was actually like kind of freaky. So I hold a lot of my emotions inside.
You do. You have a poker face.
I hold emotions inside, and then the afterthought of my brain thinking about stuff, and I go like, no, that was scary.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to watch that again, but I got through it. It was fine. I liked it. But I know there are some movies out there where I'm just like, yo, like, that's scary, and I'm not going to subject myself to it. I might subject myself to it in little doses. Like, but
I think when the themes that are heavy is something that freaks you out.
Yeah. But I did watch, when Haunting of Hill House came out, 2021, like The Maze, I did have myself go through and watch the series because I wanted to be educated on it. And that's what I usually do, is that once the mazes have been completely revealed and everything, if I haven't seen it or I don't have an expert idea of what it is, I will watch what it is in doses and go like, okay, so at least I'm walking through and I can get it, and I understand, and then I can come back and give a review. And that, like, The Haunting of Hill House was some heavy stuff. It wasn't really more of a ghost story. It was more of just like
family drama. Yeah,
it was really a family drama, and like the monsters inside of what we go through on a daily basis, and mental illness and stuff. So I've subjected myself to some heavy things, but I'm not afraid of that.
Right.
But slasher movies, not gonna happen.
Which is so weird to me because, like,
ask me if I've seen any of the Halloween movies all the way through. No. Do I respect them? Sure.
They should do a Halloween Ends maze. Or Halloween Kills. Or like the remake trilogy that they've done. That should be at Halloween Horror Nights. Because it's perfect promotion.
For one season though, this might be the season, maybe, come away from the Titans of Terror. There are a lot more scarier things in the world that we can do than Titans of Terror.
But they're iconic.
I get it. I understand that. I'm just saying there's a lot more horror out there, like Candyman and things like that, than just going with your Jasons and your Freddys and your everything like
Leatherface.
that. So, and your Leatherface and everybody. And Chucky.
Well, the original, I think, idea behind Halloween was they did the first Halloween, then they did Halloween 2. They skipped Halloween 3, which is totally sad because it's actually a fun cult classic. They went to Halloween 4, and then they stopped there. I thought the expectation was going to be that they were going to do Halloween 5, Halloween 6, H20, H Resurrection, so they were going to go down the line. But I don't know if that's the case. However, if that is the case, at least it's a different movie, and it's going to be different sets. Because Halloween 1 was a different maze from Halloween 2. Halloween 2 is completely different from 4.
And we saw what was it last year?
Halloween 4. It was they redid it.
It was the redid. So I'm not even counting that 2021 happened for Universal Exorcist. So
need to get
So
over.
I'm excited for this year.
You have to understand.
I'm excited for this
The
year.
Exorcist is a excellent movie, Brie, filled with vivid imagery, and it's a great maze.
No, I was
for
going to
some
say.
people.
I was going to say sure it is, but at Maze, no.
Nominated for who knows how many Oscars, including Best Picture.
Absolutely, as a Maze, we did it.
We did it. Well, that is our speculation map. We are, of course, going to keep you updated, and if they do an announcement this month, we'll definitely talk about that, because I think we're due for one, Universal.
It's like 3 months away. Like, it's going to happen in September,
And Creature from the Black Lagoon would be great as a maze. I have a feeling they're not doing it because they don't want to do full body suits on people.
Oh my god.
Right. I think
They
that's
have
just a
the
cop-out.
money.
They have the money.
Put them behind the thing.
When that happens, though, and it will happen. It will happen. I will be doing that maze the whole night. I'll get the
Just that
unlimited
one.
express pass. I don't
Just
care.
that. Mike, have you been on anything else? No.
Don't care.
Don't care.
Who knows?
I'll go videotape everything else.
So thank you guys very much for watching this video. Please let us know in the comments down below what you guys are most excited for and what you would hope to see at Halloween Horror Nights. And always be ready.
Because you never know your compass will take you. Bye, guys.